In this WrestleTalk news, Mercedes Moné isn't debuting in AEW, except she is, an update on Kenny Omega's injury status following his match with Will Ospreay, Ollie's review of Dynamite, and more.
Support WrestleTalk!
Last night's AEW Dynamite saw TK kick off the new year with a fresh coat of paint for his flagship show, sporting a new set, updated presentation, and a host of headline-grabbing action, which Ollie will dive into in his review here shortly. Of the attention-grabbing events was the long-awaited reveal of one of AEW's most talked-about mysteries, that being the identity of Saraya's tag partner for next week's match with The Killer and The Pillar. Yes, that's officially their name now, Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker. So it's Mercedes Moné, right? I mean, that's what we've all assumed since the match was announced. Well, no, but yes. In fact, to everyone's surprise on the show, Saraya would reveal in an interview with Renee Paquette that it would actually be Toni Storm in her corner for next week's show from Inglewood, California. This plot twist was incredibly unexpected, given the fact that not only had Saraya's opponent Britt Baker dropped some not-so-subtle hints to Mercedes' impending debut, calling herself The Boss in a backstage promo, which of course was Mercedes' moniker in WWE, but prior to Dynamite airing, DAZN's Steven Muehlhausen outright confirmed that Mercedes was AEW bound, tweeting, "Mercedes Varnado will be Saraya's partner next week at AEW Dynamite in LA against Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter." The reveal that Muehlhausen said he couldn't report on until the former Sasha Banks WWE contract had officially expired on January 1st seems to suggest that perhaps AEW are trying to pull a sneaky swerve, naming Storm to provide a red herring for fans to further the surprise of Mercedes' debut. Not to mention that Hikaru Shida's reaction to not being chosen by Saraya could hint at something going on there, maybe a cheeky little Shida heel turn to take Storm out of the match to make room for Moné to come on in. As for Mercedes, following her New Japan debut, she alluded that she had grander plans than just appearing in Japan, saying her appearance at Wrestle Kingdom 17 was just the start of her world domination tour at the event's press conference afterwards. But who knows, maybe it will be Storm after all. Nah, it's gonna be Mercedes, isn't it? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Speaking of Wrestle Kingdom, what about that New Japan US title match, eh? Crikey. Check out Ollie, Luke, and Laurie reacting to that match in full on the WrestleTalk podcast channel. While the quality of the long-awaited Will Ospreay vs Kenny Omega match was never in doubt, there has been a fair share of uncertainty regarding the latter's health following the contest. Following a nasty cheeky Nando's kick from Ospreay during the contest, Omega's eye was in pretty bad shape, appearing completely swollen shut by the time Omega made it to the post-show presser afterwards. The state of Omega's eye led to concern from fans on his status in the immediate future, with Omega and the Young Bucks set to resume their trios title series with Death Triangle at next week's Dynamite. However, it looks like we can all rest easy, as Uncle Dave Meltzer has tweeted a positive update on Omega's injury. Meltzer stated there was no orbital break or anything serious, at least as far as everyone thought late last night. Phew! Now, rematch? Anyone? Forbidden Door 2? Yes? Glad we're all in agreement. Sticking with the Elite, and there has been an update on Omega's fellow AEW EVPs Nick and Matt Jackson's contract status with the company. Following AEW's inception in 2019, it was initially reported by the Wrestling Observer that the Bucks and Cody Rhodes had signed 5-year deals with AEW. However, after Cody's departure last year, following his contract expiring, this was proven false, leaving many to question whether the Elite's deals were also coming up soon. Well, a new report from Fightful Select has revealed at the very least that the Bucks and AEW are in negotiations over new contracts. However, the report still couldn't specify when their existing deals expire. Our only clue to the length of the Bucks' current deal came way back on the October 7th edition of BTE, where the contracts were described as 4-year deals by Kenny Omega. Despite the lack of specifics, according to Fightful, the proposed contracts would see Matt and Nick remain in AEW for quite some time, which is great news for the Bucks, not so great for CM Punk's hopes of a 2023 return. Now, hot tag to Ollie.
Thanks for your support on Patreon, Mad Mac the Meat Father, and have an argy-bargy margy pargy. You too can get your own shout out by going to patreon.com/WrestleTalk. It's the first Thursday of the year, you know what that means. All new sexy me on AEW Dynamite. In about 5 minutes. Following a brand new opening credits video with everyone getting promo shots in Da Club, AEW's 2023 began with Chris Jericho versus Ricky Starks to an incredibly hot Seattle crowd. Last month has felt like each Dynamite crowd is trying to be louder than the last. They elevated everything on a show which was pretty damn fine already. Starks and Jericho had an awesome back and forth match with a very well booked finish. Jericho had Ricky in the walls, which the crowd popped for like it was the height of the Attitude Era, but Starks was holding on. Daddy Magic knocked him out with a baseball bat to the head, but Starks' arm stayed up for the 3 count. Rock style, Ricky fought out and hit a spear to win. A great match and a welcome follow-up to Starks' loss to MJF at Winter is Coming. After the last year of AEW booking, I was just scared Ricky would get lost in the shuffle again. This win gives me hope. And I'm excited for the opposite reason for Chris Jericho. He just had one of the best in-ring years of his career. Where do you go to now but down hard into the gutter? His name bar read, first match since losing to Action Andretti. And now he lost the Starks too. 2 defeats does not make a streak, but I think there's a lot of mileage in mental breakdown always losing Chris Jericho. The JAS got their heat back in the post-match, beating both Starks, with Hager powerbombing him through a table off the apron, and Andretti, who returned to make the save. Hangman Page and Jon Moxley were in the ring next, with all the pent-up sexual frustration of a young Christian couple a week from their wedding night. Because next week, Hangman Page will be medically cleared and they can finally fight, where Page promised to, and I quote, knock Jon Moxley's dick in the dirt. Maybe they are gonna have sex. Hangman said he wasn't actually angry at Mox about the concussion. He was mad that Mox made fun of him on his return from it. Kind of preferred the previous motivation. You know, the one where he's tragically upset about not being able to remember the name of his son. But no! It's because you made fun of it. That said, I can't wait for their rematch, and Moxley said the F word when he thought his mic wasn't working properly. I can't believe I'm gonna say this. I take back all my AEW criticism of Jeff Jarrett. Not all my Jeff Jarrett criticism in general, but my criticism since his AEW debut several months ago. I think I mistook my own go-away heat for actual heat. He's actually playing his carny ex-TNA guy role perfectly, and he and Jay Lethal have provided a surprisingly fun challenge for the Acclaimed. A feud which has been better than it had any right to be. Their title match here was super heated again, with daddy-ass Sonjay and Satnam Singh all getting ejected from ringside, but Sonjay stuck around just long enough to push Bones' foot off the ropes, meaning Jarrett and Lethal are your new tag team champions for about 30 seconds. It was quickly reversed when the second referee, Aubrey Edwards, pointed out the cheating, and then the Acclaimed ended up retaining. But in that moment, I couldn't believe what I was feeling. I was kind of excited for a brief Jeff Jarrett tag title run. I'll have another match at Battle of the Belts this Friday, this time under a no-holds-barred stipulation. I don't know why either. Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker had a sit-down interview where they asked why Saraya is delaying her tag partner announcement. Surely she doesn't need to look outside AEW. All the best wrestlers are right here. Saraya answered this in her own sit-down later on, flanked by Toni Storm and Hikaru Shida. She agreed, yes, I am with the best wrestler in the world right now. I choose you, Toni Storm, which visibly annoyed Shida. So either AEW are not using Monet Banks in this angle, or it's a misdirect. Whatever way it is, Saraya better end up being a heel, because she's coming across very unlikably. Bryan Danielson got a monster reaction in his Seattle hometown and made quick work of Tony Nese, which gave us more time to make fun of MJF's mum. Max came out afterwards for a really fun promo battle with Danielson, joking that looking like a goat doesn't make you one. In fact, he wouldn't be surprised if Bryan's mother couldn't find a human suitor, implied she had sex with a goat. Bryan replied, that's funny, because everyone in the back talks about all the human suitors MJF's mum has had. Enough to fill this whole arena. Even got people to chant they had intercourse with Max's mum. Bryan! Max's mum is on your side. She hates MJF. Max got some more heat by saying he's been recognized as the greatest by legends in this industry like Disco Inferno, Eric Bischoff and Jim Cornette. And then he challenged Bryan to his if it ain't broke, don't fix it template. Jump through these hoops to get a shot at me. But this time Danielson flipped the power dynamic. He said he'll win a match every week until February 8th, regardless of what Max wants. His first next week is a mouth-watering fight against Takeshita. And then his demand of MJF is their title fight will be a 1-hour Iron Man match. An incredibly exciting challenge, and one that makes great character sense. Bryan is the perfect wrestler, and he wants to expose Max on his own turf. Swerve Strickland then beat AR Fox thanks to a foreign object and an awesome Lucha Underground throwback. They got over the story that they know each other inside out by reversing every flippy move with an even flippier counter. Swerve won in brutal fashion. A Death Valley driver on the ring apron and then a stomp to the throat. The Gun Club staged a fake remembrance service for FTR's AEW careers, complete with fake-out FTR entrants. As annoying as the Gun Club are, this was very well done, turn. Jade Cargill won the following tag match on her own when Red Velvet walked out on her, which everyone saw coming but Jade, as this on-off-again relationship has been stuttering for weeks. And the main event saw an awesome 10-minute TNT title match which Darby Allin won in his hometown. It was great before the bell even rang, with Samoa Joe choking Nick Wayne in the front row, which started a hardcore brawl up the ramp and huge senton from Darby off the top of a ladder. Joe psychotically dominated the middle section, working over Allen's buckled knee, and then Darby made an excellent comeback, fighting out a sleeper, knocking Joe into an exposed turnbuckle, and coffin dropping for the win. It was the right result, but it's a shame it came at the expense of Joe, who's been on the best run since Great Balls of Fire. Still can't believe that's a pay-per-view name that actually happened. Sting celebrated with his adopted nephew in the post-match in a wonderful confetti-filled end to the show and a very exciting start to AEW's new year, with every championship now held by a homegrown AEW star. What did you think of Dynamite? Let me know in the comments. Apart from the never-ending Cargill stuff, every segment and match on this show was great to incredible. The crowd made everyone feel like Attitude Era level stars, and Darby's babyface win was the cherry on top for 2023's babyface optimism. It's the best Dynamite of the year at 87%. But it is AEW, so of course there's some backstage heat. Watch on now to find out about AEW's unhappiness with FTR.
In this WrestleTalk news, is Dax Harwood's podcast being cancelled soon? Will Ospreay wants a WWE match? Naomi may be returning to WWE after all, and more.